Yeah, shalom, shalom. So I'm gonna try to be quick, man. I'm gonna try to use my words wisely um for the sake of this channel. Um but yeah, man, before people, they try to be modest, and I can understand modesty. Modesty is a good thing. And I'm real modest about a lot of things, but for people to say there's no more prophets in the earth, that is a lie to me. Because we are all priests and prophets, you know what I mean? Um, but if you want to call yourself a servant, you know what I mean, that's cool too, being humble, so for the sake of humility, what I mean, I'll call myself a servant, if that offends anybody that, we say that we are prophets, because there are prophets, apostles, um, disciples, still in the earth. The Most High, has his set apart, like he told Elijah when Elijah came to him thinking that he was the only prophet, that he had, what, 7,000 more hidden in the cave with Obadiah, I think it was. However, though, um, my message is that, and still, reiterating on that note, that um, when you look at a prophet was the mouthpiece of Elohim, of Yahuwah. And so the prophet would prophesy the word, and you see all kind of prophets out right now on YouTube. We're living in that era that Daniel talked about, where information would be rampant, and it would go to and fro, and so what you see now, is the charges being brought against the offender, because when you commit a crime, what I mean, or whatever, it's you gotta go do the time. If you can plead guilty, you can plead no contest. That's why we have the book of Judges, because we are judges. What I mean, we are the judges in the earth. We are the ones that the Most High are using at this moment to bring the charges against the offender or the criminal. Because kidnapping is a crime. Rape is a crime. Um, um, Murder is a crime. These are crimes. And a lot of these crimes happen to a people. And so, like I said, you have your prophets out on every corner, your priests and your prophets, bringing the charges against the criminal. If that's the way you want to look at it, I'm just making an example. It's just like when you go to court, when they bring you into the court, what do? They bring charges against you, right? And when the charges are brought before you, you go before a magistrate judge. That's what we are, magistrate judge, because we know that Yahuwah is the ultimate judge. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to help you see, how things are operating, as above, so below. Everything that you see here on earth is basically like what's in heaven. There's a court in heaven. That's why there was a makeshift temple. You have the outer court, you have the inner court, and then you have the holies of holies. That's where Yahuwah sits, who is the ultimate judge. In the holies of holies is the Ark of the Covenant, is which the Ark of the Covenant is the laws, the statutes, and the commandments, because in the covenant was the testimonies. You have to understand that. But my point is this, is why I really got on here is to talk about, the times that we are at. You know what I mean? Because I remember back in 2016, just before I was detained or whatever, I was messing with this guy, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? And he stayed up the street from my T lady house or whatever. He know who he is. And I remember having conversations with this guy, and telling him, before I was detained and then, sent up the river. If you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I mean? And I remember having conversations with this dude, and I told him way back into, because I got thrown in the pit in 2016. Well, I didn't. Yeah, I guess you could say it's 2016, but I ended up going in the belly in 2019 or whatever. And but I remember telling this guy before, I had, been thrown in the pit, that, what I'm saying, that Trump was going to be the president. You know what I mean? And I told this guy way back then, that, Comanche Park, they was going to tear all that stuff down. You know what I'm saying? I told him all this before I left. He know who he is. I don't got to say his name. You know what I mean? But and I told him all of this before I left. And so I'm gonna say this again. I told him Trump was gonna be the president. You know what I mean? And when you have to be able to see things in the spiritual eye, because sometimes the Most High will allow you to see things in the physical from a spiritual perspective. You know what I mean? And so if you could just look at Trump's last name, he was a Trump. You know what were the Trumps? There were 7 trumpets, right? Right? There were 7 trumpets, right? Trump. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to help you connect, the dots. You know what I'm saying? Me, I've never voted in my life, and I don't plan on voting. I don't really care who wins, really, to tell you the truth. But, what I will say is that, is that people got a better chance with Trump than they do with anybody else. Let me say that. You know what I'm saying? But and as we can see right now, how things are going, that they're not going favorable. Let's say that. And just saying, with, when you look at what's coming up in 2024, you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure I ain't gonna say, if he don't get, if they don't you know lock him up on these trumped up charges. You know what I'm saying? As crooked as this country is, and all of the the crookedness that goes on, they want to lock a man up for something frivolous. You know what I mean? But like I say, if this man, don't get locked up, people, they better be happy, because, I like I told him, this, him getting in office is a grace period. You know what I mean? And this is the only grace period that y'all gonna get. Cause after him, it's going to hell. You know what I'm saying? After he out of office, ain't no telling what's gonna happen, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's important for us, man, to prepare ourselves and get ourselves ready, you know, uh for whatever, because the way it's looking, it ain't looking too good. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, man. I feel like, Trump getting Trump Trump getting in the office, that was the sixth Trump. That's what I feel. That's what I think it was. That was the sixth Trump, and then, you know what I'm saying, the seventh Trump is coming. You know what I mean? Right before what is it? The three woes or the bows or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I could be wrong or whatever. I ain't never said I was always right. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. From the way it's looking, it looked like, like, he gonna be back in office again if, like I said, they don't lock him up on these trumped up charges, man. You know what I'm saying? But If not, man, we gonna be in a whole world of trouble. I'm trying to tell you. You know what I'm saying? We gonna be in a whole heap of trouble, man. You know what I'm saying? Because, man, I'm telling you, man, Mad Max, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? He mad. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if you look at what's going on, how, you know what I'm saying, this piece of gate and all this stuff is coming out in the open and stuff. You know what I'm saying? About, his son and him and, the island and all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be careful with my words so this message will get through. You know what I'm saying? That the Most High is giving us grace. You know what I'm saying? Again, for us to get it right. You know what I'm saying? Before judgment comes. You know what I'm saying? Because we have to understand that the Most High is merciful and his loving kindness endures forever. So, he'll turn his back on sin so he don't have to look at it, because if he look at it, then he has to make a judgment, and so that's what we seeing right now, because some people, they scoff and mock and say, oh, well, when is your God coming and all of this other stuff, and you know what I mean, and not understanding that, he's giving people a chance to get it right. You know what I'm saying? He's giving people a chance to atone for their sins. He's giving people a chance to turn back to Yeshua HaMashiach, to turn back to the Torah. You know what I mean? And so, like I say, man, I don't know if you guys seen lately how that young black girl came out. It's been on Instagram, it's been on YouTube, I think, and in the news, how that young girl came out and was talking about how she was, you know what I'm saying, sold, on the island and all of that stuff with all these high officials and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about, man. You know what I mean? If you've been, watching the news lately, not this propaganda that they got on these, these channels that's owned by, these, people in high places, you know what I'm saying? But if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I mean? So from the looks of it, it looks like, the Most High is making the way for us to have a grace period. You know what I'm saying? Because these people is guilty. You know what I'm saying? And it's right out in the open. If they don't do nothing, man, I'm telling you, this world is going to be in danger, man. The Most High is going to turn his face up on their sins, and he's going to make a judgment. I'm telling you what's going to happen, man. If these people don't be corrected if charges don't be brought up for these people for the pedophilia and stuff that they doing, you know what I'm saying? If and they lock up up Agent Orange, you know what I'm saying? If they lock him up, man, we in trouble. I'm trying to tell you. You better be prepared. You know what I'm saying? You better pray that Yahuwah Savo, King of heaven and earth, is with you. You know what I mean? Because I got that faith that, you know what I'm saying, the same way, how he brought manna out of heaven and fed his people, you're going to have faith in this hour. Trust and believe me. So I'm going to get on out, man. I just wanted to hop on and say that. Shalom.